311 resumes landed in a single inbox. 4 of them were not applications. They were attacks. Hidden inside those 4 resumes, written in white text on a white background, were instructions meant only for a machine to read. The hidden text tried to rig the model score. Hidden instructions meant only for the machine, designed to override my screening rules. Security researchers call this prompt injection, and in a hiring funnel that is run almost entirely by AI, it is the exact threat most teams are not thinking about. Most teams worry about whether the AI is fair. Almost no one worries about whether the AI is being actively manipulated. But here is the twist. The hard part of this story was never the screening. I ran this hiring experiment myself. 1 open role, 1 week, no LinkedIn post, no job board, no recruiter, and 0 HR staff, just 1 short post on my own social account, and that 1 post pulled in 311 resumes. Before you treat that number as a universal result, do not. It is 1 role, 1 week, 1 experiment of mine, not an industry benchmark. It does not prove this method always works. It does not prove the hires were good. It is 1 unusually clean worked example of how AI-native hiring actually runs. The interesting question is not whether it scales. The interesting question is what I still had to do myself. I did not read 311 resumes. An AI agent did. Every morning, I sent the same single instruction to the agent. Check the inbox for new candidates. That was the entire prompt. Then the agent read each resume, scored it against a written standard, drafted the outreach email, attached available calendar slots, coordinated the meeting time, sent the invite, followed up with anyone who did not reply, and logged every result into a spreadsheet. If a candidate replied with a question, the agent answered it from the written context. If a time did not work, the agent proposed another slot. The agent never got tired, never skimmed, and never played favorites. Every action was time-stamped in a log, so the whole pipeline could be replayed and audited later. That log is not a nice-to-have. It is the only reason I could trust any of it. I only ever saw the conclusions. The FL, read that list again, and notice what is missing from it. Nowhere on that list is a judgment call. The agent never decided what good looked like. The agent never decided who was worth meeting. The agent never decided who got hired. My job in this funnel was exactly 3 things. Set the standard. Make the decision. Show up to the interview. That is the real lesson. And it generalizes far beyond hiring. In an AI-native team, you retreat to the layer of judgment and taste. Execution moves to the machine. AI automates the repetitive execution of hiring. It does not automate the responsibility for hiring. So what was the standard I handed to the agent? 2 hard gates. Pass both, or you do not get an interview, full stop. The gates were written down in plain language, the same way I would write a product spec. That matters, because an agent can only enforce a standard I actually wrote down. Gate 1 was hands-on proof. You had to have built something yourself, shipped it, and have the results to show. A product you launched, growth numbers you actually moved, an audience you grew with your own hands, not participated in, not familiar with, not exposed to. In an age where every candidate knows the same AI tools, knowing is no longer scarce. Any candidate can name the same models in an interview. What is scarce is the person who can say, I built this, and here is the result. Gate 2 was presence. Can you actually show up in person and work at high intensity alongside the team? And here is the honest boundary on this one. This gate was specific to me, this 1 role, and the pace of the market I was hiring into. It is not universal hiring advice. The point is not that every company should require on-site work. Remote-first teams hire brilliantly every day. The point is that I made my standard explicit and then handed it to the agent as a rule. Past the 2 gates, there was 1 more instruction to the agent. Read facts, not titles. This is where an AI screener quietly beats a tired human recruiter. 1 candidate listed her title as producer, and she applied for a marketing role. A human skimming a pile of 300 resumes would have rejected her on the spot. The title was wrong. The role was wrong. End of story. The agent read every line of what she had actually done. She had built a content team from 0. She had produced work that drove 8 figures in revenue. She shipped hit after hit after hit. She was a growth person wearing the wrong title. The real value of an AI screener is not that it is faster. Speed just lets you make bad calls more quickly. The real value is that it actually finishes reading every single resume. And it does not get fooled by a label. Now back to those 4 attacking resumes. Hidden white on white text. Invisible to a human eye scanning the page, perfectly readable to a machine parsing the file. Each one buried a hidden instruction trying to rig the score. 4 separate attempts to manipulate the filter. The agent flagged all 4. It scored them on their real content, which was weak anyway, and it added all 4 senders to a permanent blocklist. The blocklist was not a judgment the agent made on its own. The agent surfaced the attacks, and I confirmed the permanent exclusion. Why does this matter to you? Even if you never hire this way? Because the same attack vector is coming for every AI system that reads untrusted input. Inbox emails, support tickets, uploaded documents, scraped web pages. Any text your model ingests is now a surface for prompt injection. A customer could hide instructions inside a refund request. A vendor could hide instructions inside an invoice. The defense is not a magic prompt you paste at the top. There is no single sentence that makes a large language model immune to manipulation. The defense is an audit trail. Log every instruction the model received. Keep the document content strictly separated from the model's operating instructions. Validate every output against a structured schema before you trust it. If the model is only allowed to return a score from 1 to 10 and a one-sentence reason, a hidden instruction telling it to return 11 simply fails the check. Structured output turns an open-ended manipulation game into a closed-ended validation, and treat any text that tries to rewrite the rules as evidence of an attack, not as an order to obey. Integrity showed up in this moment too. Anyone willing to rig the filter at the screening stage has already told you something important about how they handle rules. That is a part of taste, not just a part of capability. You are not only reading what a person can do, you are reading how they treat the system. So how do you actually hand work to an AI? Rules. And they turn out to be the same skill as reading people. 1. Give a standard, not a checklist. Do not say, find me the best candidates, because the model will quietly fall back on school names and job titles. They, instead, decide whether this person could be a top 5% builder and return a yes or a no. A standard is a decision the model can make. A checklist is just a sorting task the model hides behind. Same shift applies everywhere. In support, sales, in operations. Tell the agent what a great outcome looks like, then let it find its own path there. 2. Give full context and real authority. Tell the agent what good looks like, what bad looks like, and what to do when it is unsure. The cleaner the authorization, the fewer back and forth questions, and the faster the whole thing runs. 3. Turn every correction into a rule, not a feeling. This candidate is wrong is a feeling. From now on, reject anyone whose home base is not local is a rule. Feelings drain you and disappear. Rules compound into the agent and make the system smarter every single cycle. Zoom out, and you can see the shape of an AI native organization in who I was trying to hire. 5 rules, all sharing one common thread: the AI builder, who swallows the whole chain from idea to shipped product, with an AI coding agent as the default way of working. The growth engineer, a marketing seat that codes every day and runs growth as an engineering discipline. The business owner, who owns a single line, delegates 90% of execution to agents, and personally carries the result. The servicer, who manages a fleet of AI support agents and watches escalations and trust moments instead of answering 10,000 tickets. And the AI native functional lead, in HR, in finance, or in legal, who rebuilds their own entire function on top of agents. This very hiring funnel is what AI native HR looks like in practice. And there is a single interview question that cuts cleanly through all 5 roles. What did you let AI do for you last week? A person who actually uses AI as labor can name 5 concrete things off the top of their head. A person who merely knows AI is powerful will start lecturing you about concepts. One is a builder, the other is a spectator. So where is the honest line in all of this? AI did not replace the interview. The real human-to-human interview was the one step I refused to outsource. AI did not make the integrity call on those 4 attackers. I confirmed the permanent blocklist. AI did not make the final hiring decision, and it did not check labor law compliance. I still own every legal and ethical obligation of hiring. Employment law, like background checks, work authorization, and pay equity do not disappear because an agent read the resumes. If anything, auditing how the agent filtered people becomes a brand new legal responsibility. What AI replaced was the repetitive execution, the reading, the ranking, the scheduling, the follow-up, the logging. When building gets cheap and execution moves to the machine, a company's value retreats to the same place a person's value does. The 5% that AI cannot do. Judgment, taste, trust, and accountability for the result. In an age where everyone can use AI to finish anything, the most valuable person is the one who knows what actually counts as done well. So if you take one thing away from this experiment of mine, give the AI the standard, keep the responsibility, and build an audit trail before you need it, because the prompt injections are already sitting in your inbox. You just have not parsed them yet. 311 resumes, 4 attacks, 6 interviews, 0 HR, 0 recruiter fees, and me showing up. That is my one experiment, not a benchmark. Follow me, and I will see you in the next one.